Good morning, Thief. Tuning into another installment of On This Day with Christy. Howdy. Hope you have a cool one. Today is Friday, August 7th, 2026. We're going to recap what we talked about Monday and Wednesday, and I was absent Wednesday. I was very sick. But I'm starting to feel better. So, we're going to recap what we talked about Monday and learn some new things along the way about today. So let's hop in our magic van, pop in some tunes, and go for a ride. On this day in music history, on Monday, Def Leppard released their fourth studio album, Hysteria, their best-selling title to date. Hysteria was a follow-up of 1983's Pyromania. On August 3rd, 1999, Patsy Cline received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Cline is heralded as one of the most influential and acclaimed female vocalists of the 20th century, and the country sensation was at the height of her career prior to her untimely death at age 30. In 1971, Paul McCartney announced the formation of his new group, Wings, with his wife Linda and former Moody Blues guitarist and singer Denny Laine. Over the next 10 years, the band released 8 albums, starting with their 1971 debut, Wildlife. They also won 2 Grammys, one for 1975 for the Best Pop Vocal Performance and another in 1980 for the Best Rock Instrumental Performance. In 1969, Creedence Clearwater Revival released their third studio album, Green River. Their second of 3 albums released that year, Green River featured such hits as Bad Moon Rising. It was certified gold by the RIAA in 1970. On this day in 91, Metallica held a playback party at New York City's Madison Square Garden to celebrate the release of their self-titled album. Among the attendees were Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic of Nirvana. And lastly, that same in 1963, the Beach Boys released Surfer Girl. And that's it because the released Surfer Girl. Okay, time to hop over, get back in the magic van, and hop over to Factoids. Today is Clean Your Floors Day and Grab Some Nuts Day. This is when Monday's Factoids. In 2025, at least 100,000 people marched across the Sydney Harbour Bridge in a pro-Palestine protest. Thousands crossed Sydney's iconic bridge in pouring rain, carrying signs and flags while banging empty pots and pans to symbolize the famine in Gaza. It was one of the largest protests in Sydney's history, shutting down the bridge for several hours. In 2017, rapper Kid Creole stabbed a homeless man to death in New York City and was arrested. In 2015, President Barack Obama announced his Clean Power Plan to take action on climate change. In 2008, Morgan Freeman's car flipped over several times on the highway in Mississippi. 2 days later, he had a 4-hour operation where doctors repaired nerve damage in his shoulder and arm. In 2003, the Anglican Church of America approved a gay bishop. It was the first time in history that an openly gay bishop was voted to be the head of the church in America. This event shook many religious figures across the globe and caused an uproar in the church. In 1914, Germany declared war on France and sent its first wave of troops to Belgium to start the attack. And then we're really pushing our our magic band. 1108, Louis VI had his coronation and was crowned King of France. Can't talk today, sorry about that. Anywho, now it's time for Friday. Be right back. Today in music history, we start with 1997. Garth Brooks plays to a record-breaking crowd. On August 7, 1997, Garth Brooks set a new record by playing to the largest crowd ever in New York City's Central Park. An estimated 1 million people attended the live concert, with an additional 14.6 million viewing live on HBO. In 1970, the Goose Lake International Music Festival kicked off in Leone, Michigan. During the 3-day event, more than 200,000 attendees enjoyed sets by Bob Seger, Jethro Tull. 10 years after, Mountain, Chicago, and Stuart James. What the hell? Oh, Rod Stewart, James Gang, Flying Burrito Brothers, the MC5, and the Stooges with Iggy Pop, among many others. That sounds like a huge concert. It was probably fun. In 1971, the Bee Gees scored their first U.S. #1 with How Can You Mend a Broken Heart. 1 year later, soul star Al Green would draw critical acclaim for his own rendition of the tune. In 1957, the Quarrymen, who would soon evolve into the Beatles, played a memorable show at Liverpool Cavern Club. While the venue was considered a jazz club, skiffle was tolerated. The evening, however, John Lennon added rock and roll songs like Hound Dog, Blue Suede Shoes to the set list, causing quite the stir with the owner. I wonder if he got approved by Elvis to use those songs. Probably not, but that's just mine. Anywho. And lastly, in 1980, John Lennon, again, entered the Hit Factory in New York City to begin recording his final studio album, Double Fantasy. Now it's time to hop back in the van, run over to Factoid Town, and find us some facts. August 7th is known as Professional Speakers Day, and particularly preposterous Packaging Day. And I can't believe I just said that. I screw up the date half the time. I could remember that, really. In 2018, Hollywood's first full Asian cast movie was called Crazy Rich Asians, was released. In 1990, the first American soldiers arrived in Saudi Arabia as part of the Gulf War. Oh. Come on. In 1927, pirate alcohol smuggler Horace Alderman killed 3 people, including a Coast Guardman and a Secret Service agent. In 1914, the first British troops arrived in France during World War I. In 1912, Theodore Roosevelt was nominated for the U.S. president by the Progressive Party. In 1904, the Eden train wreck happened when a train derailed in Denver, Colorado to St. Louis, Missouri. Wow. The disaster resulted from flash flooding where 88 people died and 22 were missing. And lastly, in 1782, George Washington created the Purple Heart Medal that symbolized military merit. Now, it's time to put on our thinking caps. It's time for trivia. Question: in what year did the Berlin Wall fall? Answer: 1989. Which planet is the only one in our solar system that rotates clockwise? Answer: Venus. Everybody should know this, and if you don't, I'm ashamed of you. Question: what was the name of the coffee shop in the TV show Friends? Answer: Central Perk. And bonus question: what's the hottest planet in our solar system? Answer: Venus. That's a lie. It is here. It is the hottest place in the whole freaking universe. Anywho, let's take off our thinking caps and put on our party hats because it's time for birthdays. In 1925, Felice Bryant. 1920, Herb Reed. 1942, B.J. Thomas. 1950, Rodney Crowell. 1958, Bruce Dickinson. And 1966, Christian Hirsch. If it was your birthday today or over the weekend, happy birthday to you. You can catch us here 7 days a week with Brian the Rockstone on WCDI. And don't forget to check out the Top Rope Report every Sunday and Wednesday. Have a great one. Ciao.